I am content because the content of this video is about contempt. Why am I content? Well, I am a relationship coach and my intent is to bring more contentment to the couples I work with. Welcome to our series on emotional intelligence. I have the firm belief that emotional intelligence is one of the keys to happy couples, to couples who have contentment with each other. So the content is contempt. What is contempt? Contempt in a couple is the feeling that one's partners is beneath oneself, is deserving scorn. Basically, it's an attitude that gives one partner the right to judge and put down their partner because they feel they are superior. Contempt is both an attitude and a feeling. The two major emotions that are the most prevalent in contempt are anger and disgust. When a couple feels contentment with each other, they typically don't sweat the small stuff. They focus on what is working well. They focus on appreciating each other. And when they have complaint, they're often easily resolved. When a couple does not have contentment with each other, then they tend to sweat the small stuff. They tend to basically make each other's responsible for their complaints. So it starts with something we are not happy about, basically a complaint. And there are many ways to escalate that complaint. One way is harsh starts. I made a video a few weeks ago about it and will refer to it because I introduced two examples, two scenarios I'm going to bring in again today. Another way a complaint can escalate is to become a criticism. I made a second video on criticism using the same scenarios from Harsh Start video and that I'm going to use again today. When complaint further escalate from criticism, contempt often creeps in. In a sense, contempt is a criticism that festers, that simmers over a long time and becomes infected with superiority and an intent to convey low value to the other. Some examples of contempt would be disrespect, hostile humor, mockery, name-calling, character assassination, demeaning, belittling, sarcasm, cynicism, sneering, and a number of verbal and nonverbal behaviors. An example of nonverbal contempt would be raising eyebrows. I would love to highlight contempt with the two examples I used in the harsh start and the criticism video. So from the harsh start video at minute 4:00, there is the example of a man who is distracted on his phone and his wife says, "You never pay attention to me." We already looked at that as being both a harsh start and a criticism. So harsh start is because she goes from 0-60 instantly and basically startles him. And it's a criticism because she makes him wrong. So just envision that this couple has the same scenario day in, day out, and on and on. You can imagine that the wife would become very resentful. There are many ways of handling that resentment. One of them is doubling down on it. And this is where contempt comes in. For example, she might say, "Well, darling, you know, my friends tell me that their husbands ask them every day how their day went, and they listen to her and what is bothering her in her life." So you can see that there is an element of belittling him. There is an element of putting him down. He's not worthy of her. He does not have enough value for her. You can see that this is a cold and calculated attempt at somehow getting something out of him. Second example, it's at minute 6:58 from the Harsh Start video. We have a man who asks his wife for sex and she says no. The Harsh Start response was, "Why do you always say no to sex?" Notice that this was also a criticism because he was making her wrong. In here, I have no intent of taking sides about who is right or who is wrong, whether both are right or both wrong. My intent is to look at the ways we respond that kills couples, and our specific content today is about contempt. So a contemptuous answer for the man would be, "You are the reason we never have sex." I'm assuming you see that this is also cold, this is calculated, this is disrespectful, this is putting her down. If you watched this video so far, I am making two assumptions. The first one is that you see the hatred nature of contempt. And the second is that there is very likely contempt in the content of your relationship or a relationship that you care deeply about. So how do we get rid of contempt so we can find more contentment with each other? One of the keys is awareness. Awareness of contempt when you see it happen in other couples, like in movies. And this is something that you may discuss with your partner. Awareness of content in your partner when you see it, and awareness in contempt in yourself when you notice it arising. The challenge with contempt is that once we spot it, it is often too late. In a previous video, I was sharing that John Gottman claims that he can spot or predict at about 90+% accuracy whether couples are going to stay together or whether they are going to divorce over the next 5 years. In my view, contempt is very insidious and very difficult to overcome. My recommendation here is to seek professional help. I want to bring in important consideration here. Contempt is one of those things in which when we look at the past, which I'm not saying we shouldn't do, but we are likely going to fester more contempt. As a coach, of course I'm interested in the past and what happened, but I do not want to unlock things from the past. I want to create a better future. So how do you solve contempt in the future? That sounds like an interesting proposition. Well, it's fairly simple. It is learning to create positive situations in which the couple finds contentment. Curious? Well, hit the like button below and subscribe so you can be notified when I publish new juicy content. I look forward to seeing you very soon.